I owe you one.
All right. So today we're talking about execution. Like, what is execution? No, not the kind where somebody's getting
Off
killed.
with his head.
Nice try. Sorry, Billy. I know that's what you wanted to talk about, but
Off
not
with
today.
his head.
Not off with his head. Not. But execution is on the wall right here. And there's a couple different definitions, but like, why is it important and how has it helped us? So on the wall it says execution is to stop talking and do the work. Basically meaning stop trying to talk the talk and just walk the walk. Just walk the walk. That's what it's about, is doing the work, putting in the work. So there's one thing to talk, there's another to walk. You want to practice what you preach. So if you're preaching something and not practicing it, it's going to show in your character. Especially with your friends and family, they'll notice like, oh, they talk big game, but they actually aren't doing what they're saying. They're not following through. You had a definition for us.
Yes.
Define execution.
This one I had, right?
No, not that one. That's the one Billy wants.
I know. How was that, so you?
Here you go, right here.
I got it.
I got it first. You want
You're
it?
way slower. What do you mean? All right. So the definition of execution is the carrying out or putting into effect of a plan, order, or course of action. And that's the only one, and then there's the death one. So yeah.
Let's not talk about the death one. That one's kind of negative. We keep it positive here anyways. Anywho, but think about execution in different areas in life. For instance, in music, when you say that let's say an opera or a band or something had good execution, that basically means everybody was in harmony, everybody was in rhythm, and pretty much played to perfection. Or in sports, they had good execution, like they had a good team, they had good teamwork. But also think about form. When someone executes good form in sports, whether it's baseball, football, golf, anything, volleyball, soccer, you have to follow through. So when you're hitting the ball, you gotta follow through. You can't just stop your momentum and slow it down. You gotta follow through. That's what execution is about. Same in soccer, you don't just stop, you follow through. That's what execution's about. Xavier, you had your hand raised.
Even like, I know we're not talking about like death, that's execution, but if the disciples didn't get executed for Christ's name, everybody executed their purpose. And now, everything was falling into place. But you know what I mean? I just want to throw that in there.
They followed through Jesus' example and followed through with their testimony in the gospel.
Another thing with execution, like when you're working out, that last 5%, that's where you get most of your work from. So you gotta finish and follow through.
Gotta finish and follow through. But to me, it's really about following through. So whether it's in sports, in life, in sales, well, how do you follow through? Well, you don't just end the sale right after you get them the phone. You try and network with them a little bit. Have some customer service for them. Like if they have any questions or need help setting up an email, sometimes following through is going above and beyond, doing extra. That's sometimes what execution is about, is doing extra. And I got a quote for you, like, if opportunities come to those who are prepared. So what does that really mean? How do you become prepared, and what's an opportunity? An opportunity is something that basically comes to you when you're prepared. It's like something that can have positive changes, and it's a position or time and place for you to change, usually for the positive. There can be negative opportunities, but generally we talk about them in a positive manner. So how do you prepare for those opportunities? So if you're slacking off, if you're not paying attention, or if you're not taking care of the small things, because the small things matter. If you can't take care of the few small things you're entrusted with, how can you take care of bigger tasks and bigger things and more important things? So you have to be prepared. You got to put in practice. Practice is to become better at. So in order to be prepared for an opportunity, you got to practice more. And so once that opportunity does come, if you're not prepared, you're probably going to let go of the opportunity or not even realize it's there in the first place. Or if you are prepared, like you've been thinking about it, praying about it, and working hard towards it so that when it does show itself, you can take advantage of it. But that's all up to you. Are you going to put in the preparation for it, or are you just going to let it slide and let it slip when it does come? It's up to you. And if we keep holding on to yesterday, then who will it be tomorrow? Like, you can't hold on to the past. You can't let your past define you. It is important. The past does build up to who we are now, but we can't keep holding on to it. Because if you keep holding on to the past and your past mistakes and the things you did before, you're never going to change. You know, sometimes we'll get people here like, oh, I used to kill it in sales at this job or that other job, or used to be really good at this other thing. Well, what are you doing now? You're only as good as your current paycheck. So even though you did great things in the past, can you reproduce it in a different field? Can you be consistent and execute it somewhere else? That's really all that's really about, is executing what you can do, following through your commitments. If you have goals or plans for this today, this week, this month, for the rest of the year, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to be prepared to go through the hard work and the different things you have to do to follow through those plans and goals. So after you achieve that goal, achieve that opportunity, there's more to it than that. It doesn't just end there. Following through is almost like, okay, what's next? What's the next step I have to take? There's so many different little steps you have to take, one at a time. You can't just do one big leap. You have to do one at a time. Because the problem about leaps is you're taking big risks, and that can cause you to fall, slip, hurt yourself, or even backtrack. You might even end up just backtracking. Those small steps are very, very important to the process. That's why the LDP, why it takes time to grow as a leader and progress through the LDP, is because we understand that you can't just skip steps. We've had people in the past at this job try and become a team leader by just working for another office and having a bunch of agents under them. And then sometimes those opportunities fail because they don't get paid for the extra work they're doing, or because the people they tried hiring aren't following through with their commitments, or maybe the person that jumped ship wasn't following through with their own commitments. There's so many different things that can go wrong. What we're here to do is encourage you to follow those steps. It starts with your character growth, is becoming a leader, is getting those 60 sales, having that consistency, taking care of those small things and following through with your commitment. That's really all execution is about. Anywho, let's do some shout outs for the past couple days. Whoop, whoop. So,
What's the burning for?
what was that?
What's the burning for?
They're all only one apart, Leela says. So they're all very, very close together. And I'm trying to see if someone... So at number 4, Peyton, you had 28. I'm going to give you a shout out for that because you're real close to number 3. Let's go, Peyton!
At number 3, we have Danny and Gabe with 30.
Let's go! Woo!
And at number 2 with 31, like we said, one apart, Alex Stapley with 31. Let's go! Always being consistent, always in the top 3. I don't remember the last time he wasn't in the top 3, I'll be honest.
It was when I took the weekend off.
We don't, yeah, well, maybe for the week, anywho. And then at number 1 with 32 sales, we have Justin Reading. Where are you at, Justin? He's getting inventory. Guess what? Because he was first in the office, he's getting inventory first. Let's go, Justin.
He wants a speech.
Yeah, oh, you want to speak? Right on. Alright, I'm joking. I would take up Angel's time as well. Let's not do that. Anywho, let's continue working together today and executing and following through with what we have. I know the inventory situation has been tough, but execution is following through with what we have. So let's take advantage of what we have and do our best with it. Let's go.